I suddenly recognized the flavor in my mouth. It's the taste of power.
Damn, Hansel. I can't believe you're not a girl. You're so fine.
Hedwig and the Angry Inch is a film that came out in 2001 that's written, directed, and starring John Cameron Mitchell. So, Hedwig and the Angry Inch is a $50 Patreon request that comes from Ryan Oliveira. And I'm going to be honest, this is a film that, a lot of the Patreon requests that I get, I have never heard of up until this point. And this is a film that Ryan absolutely loves. Like, I could be wrong, but I believe this is his favorite film of all time. At the very least, I think it's in his top 5 favorite films of all time. And after doing further research on this film, I learned that this film actually has quite the cult following. The cult following and the overall appreciation for this film after the years went on is pretty damn strong. Originally, Hedwig and the Angry Inch was a Broadway musical. I mean, it still is, but originally it grounded itself through Broadway. And it had a lot of success. I mean, it had so much success that, I mean, it toured globally. And the main character, Hedwig, was not only performed by the writer and director John Cameron Mitchell, but is performed by a lot of different celebrities, one of them including Neil Patrick Harris, who gave an electrifying performance at the Oscars. And I bring all this up because it just goes to show that there is a lot of cult appreciation for this film. This is a film that resonated with a lot of people and obviously resonated a lot with Ryan. Now, after watching Hedwig and the Angry Inch for myself, I can say that I actually found a lot of enjoyment in this film. This was a film that I was a little bit skeptical going into it because I am typically not a huge fan of musicals, but I wouldn't even consider this film a full-on musical because the majority of the music that you hear in this film is diegetic, which basically just means that it's natural within the context of the story and character. Because the main character of Hedwig is essentially a drag queen rock star, and pretty much the majority of the music in this film is that actual character performing music at local bars. I only remember maybe 1 or 2 moments of the film that resemble the traditional musical set pieces. And even those moments I didn't mind because the music in this film is used as a vessel to kind of express character information and also express characters' emotions. A lot of what we learn about the character Hedwig and all the characters that surround Hedwig's life is told through us through their music. And it's sometimes used to embody the character's current state of mind. Or again, it's also used as a way to give background information on the main character. Or it's also used as a way to explain and express the dynamics that Hedwig has with other different characters. Especially in regards to a character named Tommy Gnosis, who's played by Michael Pitt, who most people actually know from Funny Games. And Tommy Gnosis is just a perfect caricature of just the poser rock artist everybody knows. And I really love the character of Tommy Gnosis, not only because I found it satirically hilarious, but at the same time, I feel like his character represents how a lot of the time the artist that you see on stage is really just a stage character. That's not, sometimes it's the furthest thing from who they really are. In Hedwig's case, a lot of what you see on stage is, it actually reflects who that person is. But anyway, getting back to the music in this film, I really enjoy the music. A lot of this music that you hear in the film is basically different variations of rock. In my opinion, a lot of it is different variations of classic rock. But some songs have a punk rock sound to it. There was this one song in the film that kind of gave me Fleetwood Mac vibes. Personally, my favorite song in this film is a song called The Origin of Love. I think it's a wonderfully written song, both lyrically and melodically. I think it just works really well. And it's written and performed in a way that really makes you feel something. And the whole animation bit that represents the Plato story of The Origin of Love that plays during the performance, I think is just visually beautiful to look at. And one thing about this film that kind of caught me by surprise that I dug quite a bit was how surprisingly dark it was, and also honest, because the main character of this film, which is obviously Hedwig, her backstory of why she's now in America is actually pretty damn tragic and unfortunate, because the film conveys this grooming process that eventually leads to an involuntary sex change operation, which is something that, again, I did like about the film, because the character Hedwig is a transsexual character, but the whole sex change operation element of her character was basically forced upon her through manipulation tactics. And it's also where we get the title of the film, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, because it's referring to the botched sex change operation that she got, from like a backroom medical professional. And I feel like that plays into a gigantic thematic element of the main character who, throughout the entire film, I feel like is kind of going through an identity crisis of her own. And this character notion is expressed in a lot of different ways throughout the film, but one of the most important and crucial lines in the film that I feel like does embody this identity crisis theme is the line where Hedwig mentions that she's on a quest of finding her other half. And in a way, I feel like she is talking about like a different actual person, because she is yearning for love and yearning for somebody who truly appreciates her and accepts all the elements of her. But at the same time, I feel like when she mentions the other half, I feel like she is mainly talking about herself, because of the fact that her identity was essentially robbed from her. And throughout the entire film, she's trying to figure out who exactly is she. And that's because, again, she was forced to do a sex change operation that she really didn't want to do. And then on top of that, the sex change operation was botched. So now she doesn't feel comfortable identifying with either a woman or a man. And she's essentially something in between, which is also related to the kind of animated Play-Doh story that we get during the Origin of Love song. But yeah, even though this film is dark, like I mentioned, it kind of embraces its darkness through humor and satire, which is a huge element of the film that I really did like, because throughout this entire film, I found the comedy to land quite a bit. I mean, throughout this entire film, I found myself laughing quite a bit. And also just in general, you have to give huge props to the writer and director John Cameron Mitchell, because again, not only does he write, direct, and essentially produce this film, but he stars as the main character Hedwig, and it's definitely the most demanding performance in the film, and I bought his character through and through. I thought he gave a really damn good performance. In terms of criticism, I'll say that I feel like the film could have actually benefited from being a little bit longer, because I felt like, one, the ending felt a tad bit abrupt, even though overall I do dig the ending in some ways because it is a bit interpretive. But I feel like I wanted the dynamic between Hedwig and Tommy Gnosis to be explored a little more. I mean, the film does explore it, but I felt like we could have used more substance between them, because I felt like if their dynamic was a bit more layered and complex, I would have felt more of that emotional weight that we get in the finale. But again, overall, I dug this film quite a bit. I think it's a really enjoyable film that, offers a lot of great music. Like, I would be, like, if you don't like this film, at least you'd be able to come away with it saying, you know what? The music's pretty awesome. So I'm going to give Hedwig and the Angry Inch a solid 7 out of 10. Yeah, I'd say that this is a film definitely worth recommending, and it has a Criterion release, so who knows, come Criterion season, I might pick it up. But we'll see. We'll see, because my Criterion wish list is already getting a little out of hand, so I can't make any guarantees. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about Hedwig and the Angry Inch. If you really enjoyed what I had to say about the films, give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film-related content.